And I was like, maybe we could do with a little bit of DM history to get like kind of a running total of who was best or who were the top players at different times.
So it was Admiral Zhao from 2002 until 2032, right? That's what we're entering.
Right. 32. Yep. Sounds right.
Someone needs to be Tom Snuffles as well. I was reminded by the admins that we shouldn't forget Admiral Zhao and Tom Snuffles in this. So I thought, why not speak the controversial topics right away?
Just get them out of the way. Yeah, I like it. All right. Do you want to start with some history? Should we start there? Are we ready to go?
I think I'm gonna take the music off. I feel like it's a bit distracting. You guys can say what you like as well. Yeah, let's start at the inception. I don't know how far you can go. I don't feel comfortable before 2020, as you said. I would start at when the game came out. I think, right? That's when AV2 Deathmatch was in the original, right?
Yes. So a little bit of prehistory even to that. When Age of Empires 1 was first given Zone.com, which is where you could play online, there was only 2 major game mode options that they offered, and that was Random Map and Deathmatch that you could play on Zone.com. And hence why the birth of Deathmatch was extremely popular, but also Deathmatch had this issue of having a lot of units on the field and hence a lot of lag. And as you may all imagine, there was a lot of like flaming against players that were lagging, and what ended up being the case was pretty much strictly a few countries were left playing the game. Generally, all the Asian countries didn't even touch Deathmatch anymore because anytime they tried, it was just so laggy that everyone else kind of kicked them out.
Oh.
And even from South America. So it was pretty much just United States, UK, Germany.
I have a timeline.
Some Canada. So this is 1999 to like 2001. You could just see the decline in all players except for the Americans, Germans, UK, Australia, and Canada. And you still see that today, right? Where the majority of DM top players are from those nations. So for the best player, and I'm not quite clear on who's the best, like when the game came out in 1999. But from 2000 to 2005, I'm pretty sure, and actually Daywalker's in chat, I see, who would probably back me up on this or give me more clarity, but I'm pretty sure from this time period, and defined by the Juno Cup series for 1v1, which ended, I believe, in like June of 2005, I'm pretty sure, was Bender, L Clan Bender.
Oh.
So if you look up Juno Cup in here, Juno Cup 1, 2, and 3 were basically the DM World Cups of back then.
Right. Let's take a look. This Juno Cup 1.
You're gonna have
it.
Yeah, against Wrath. And Dan in chat, let me ask. I'm pretty sure Wrath is the same as Honor the Bum, aka Triple Bless, right?
Ireland.
Is that right? Even though he has an Irish flag. And that's Glenn. Oh my gosh. Okay, I got them mixed up because at some point Triple Bless also went by Wrath. Okay. That was Glenn. Okay, I actually played with Glenn on Boob for a little while.
For a player.
Yeah, there was a few different people who went by Wrath. There was even multiple L Clan Wraths. The other L Clan Wrath was Brazilian.
Daywalker was Valhalla? What?
Yep.
How was Daywalker Valhalla? What the hell? I didn't know there was a Valhalla history previous to the clan.
This was 2004. And at this time, Dan, I think, was widely thought of as the #1 DM player. But he ended up losing to Bender in a really close series in Juno Cup 2. The final game, if I remember right, was a Team Islands. And basically, Bender had the better Team Island because it had more relics. And even though Dan was winning for most of the game, he ended up losing in the long run of it.
Relics were imbalanced on Team Islands? Oh, wow. Well, I guess the old times were different.
Yeah, so Dan basically got screwed over.
He's still complaining about how he got dropped of a tournament in 2004. This is amazing. Fucking my
So,
match was rigged. 20
so
more
if
years
we go
later.
if we go to
Oh,
the map
I
of
love it.
all the years, you could put Bender as number one for that time frame. But then who's number two? Um, like number two ish in that frame, like the first, like around 2002 to three was Wrath, I guess. Glenn. Um,
Oh, I can't move these, so we need to do number 2 before we do number 1, so I can put them above, I think. Or do I put number 2 below the timeline? That might work too, right?
sure. Yeah, that's fine.
So I put Bender on the top spot for 2000 to 2005.
Some side notes about Bender. He went on to play RM, and for a short time became the number one RM player after this. And was known for inventing building trade in RM team games. Apparently, before that, they never built trade.
They never. Wow.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, and yeah, he was a fantastic player. He actually won DM Rising Star 2, if I remember right. It's funny because he was more like a re-Rising Star. And his interview afterward with me, he went on to say how much DM sucks and that he was not going to play it again.
What? Oh. What the fuck is that? Thank you for
German
the red
player,
post.
if you didn't know.
Did Bender. I was always under the impression, but I feel like you corrected me on this before, that Bender invented the club.
No, that was Proek. Or at least he likes to credit himself with it. Proek, Irish player. He invented the clump, particularly with like the Persians, and he would just make a lot of elephants. It wasn't particularly great against the great players, but it worked well against players who weren't at the very top. But yeah, if we could add the number two player spot here, I don't know how easy that
Daywalker
is.
then, right? Let's see.
First Wrath and then Daywalker.
First, Wrath. Oh, not an example. Which color for Wrath? I have to trust you on the colors as well, because I don't know what's a good color to depict him.
Probably orange, I guess. It'd be great to get Glenn back. He was a really nice
I have
guy.
an Irish orange. I need to find an Irish orange, which isn't too easy. I guess this works. From when to when for Wrath?
2001 to 2, or maybe 2001 to 2001 to 2. I would say is fair. And then after that, I would go from that where that ends up to 2004 as being Dan Daywalker. And if you had people back then debating this, I think most would say Daywalker's number one and not Bender. Dan was crushing everybody that he played.
You know, trying to put him here, but let me. Oh, I guess it works. Until 2004, you said?
Yeah. Another thing too is back then there was a big debate of who's the best 1v1 player and who's the best team game player, but we're not going to get into that here. But if you went off a team game, then you would say Mystical Soul would be number one DM player. But and he also had the highest rating ever in DM. Mystical Soul did, but anyway. Okay, and then 2005 was the emergence of Jidba. Jibba went to the grand final against Bender in Juno Cup 3, and also had an extremely close set with him. I remember watching this. So my friends and I, at this point we had cable internet, and basically DM was diving really, really fast around this time because everyone was getting cable and DSL internet and getting routers, and routers were not allowing people to connect to zone.com. So essentially all the countries that were adopting DSL and cable internet were suddenly dropping out of Age of Empires at this time, and hence DM in particular was getting crushed. A little backdrop story of that.
Should I enter Juno Cup here or the Zone thing as a watermark event?
Sorry, say it again?
I'm trying to add events as well.
Oh,
Uh,
nice. That's gonna be tricky. But yeah, that was the main event. Although WCLs were also huge events that were 20% DM, 80% RM. Yeah, Polar saying DM had 2 times lobbies with 300 max. Actually, it had 2 times lobbies of rated 300 max and were always full, and then it had an additional 4 non-rated DM lobbies that you could join that were always full as well. And so DM, in terms of number of players in the DM lobbies, was usually really close with RM for a while there. They would be really full. Overall, RM, yeah, had the more players. Especially, I think if you were in Europe, it would feel like RM was more popular. I think for me, like in America and during American time zones, you saw more DM. But still, RM was probably the most popular, even in United States.
right. So the next one then as a
Okay.
top 1 guy is Jitba, right? Because he reigned for a long time. Or is it more complex?
Yeah, so following Bender's reign there, and it was super close with Jibba. Jibba then won everything from that point all the way until I beat him in DM World Cup 1, which, let me look at that date. Uh,
I have it. It loads. Talking
2016.
2016. Wow, that's such a
Yeah.
long reign. Holy. I mean, I knew Jitba had a long reign, but. What is Jitba's favorite
It's
color?
blue.
That's not great for it.
um,
Not
and
like a
unfortunately,
purple.
Bender played as orange, if I remember right.
Oh,
Um,
I'll make everybody
so
orange. Well, I guess I'll make Bender somewhat orange in a different orange.
So yeah, Jidba for a little over 10 years, for over a decade. He was super dominant. If you go look at the Voobli's like original ladder for DM, he was like at one point he had the entire top 10 as Greek flag names, which were all his names. Let's see if I could get a picture of that.
Yeah, Discord I control.
Let me go find it really quick if I can find it. I have to remember how to log into Voobly. Yes, okay. I think I'm still like an admin on Voobly.
Let's go. This page will get to 2020s and 2027. I don't know. We already made it to 2016 from 2000 or from 1999. We spent 17 years already. There isn't that many more years ago. Depends on the second places we're adding, I guess.
So, Otter, I don't know if you could open this because you probably have to log in, but you could just maybe try. I just sent you the ladder.
Yeah, I think I have to later. I don't have an account.
Okay, I'll send you a picture of it. So here's a picture of it. You can see that it's not all Greek flags in the top 10 anymore, but every Greek flag there is Jidba, whose real name is Chris. The other names that are in there are some notable ones. Christ. Yep. He's the well-known Australian player who's an old DM legend, and I'll get to him here shortly on that timeline. Viper, obviously, you can see Viper there had like 250 games on that ladder. He also had another 200 plus games on the next DM ladder that came after this one. This is the up to 2013 ladder. Improvise, they're at number 15. He's also someone that we're going to have to mention here soon. And for the longest time, even though he's not here anymore, there was the Code's name. You also see Valkyrion there at number 7, but he was just strictly a Mitchie player in the same way that Frost9 was. Frost probably remembers him pretty well. But yeah, he was like the number 1 DM Mitchie player for a long time. So, yeah, pretty crazy that one player can make all the entire top 10 Greek flags number 1, which it was for a little while for him. So looking at our timeline, it's let me think. Like, so he was when was Christ number 1? Chris T, I guess. Or sorry, number 2. I think he was number 2. I was playing at that time as well. So he was number 2 in like 2011 to 12, I think.
Is it Christ or Christy?
It's Chris. Let's just say Chris T. You know, we should ask him actually. It's in your chat, right?
Sure. He
No.
was here yesterday at least. Color. Sorry, I always have to ask about color. It's not so relevant, but I have to put one. 2002 until what did you say? No.
2003. Or sorry, 2012 or 11 to 12. 2011 to 2012. Yeah. There's a little blip there. And I don't know how much we should go into all of them who are number 2 here. But the other notable one, like in 2008 to 9, there was a guy named Tracy, who was another Quendi member who at one point actually beat Chiba in a series. He was number 2. 2008 to 9. And then he had to go to the military in Taiwan.
Tracy?
Yeah. He went by Tracy because he was a fan of Tracy McGrady, the basketball player.
Capital C or?
I don't think so. I think it's just regular C. I don't really remember actually. He also went by Dexterity. But yeah. Anyway, he was from Taiwan, which is a rare thing around Deathmatch. I think 2009 to 10, or more like 2009 to 2011 actually, was Improvise Jordan. He challenged Jidba several times in different series, and I think he would come close to beating Jidba. We don't need to add him here, but another honorable mention would be Josh. Quendi Josh was also beating Jidba in several games, but never really taking a series from Jidba. The only one to take a series from Jidba during his reign was Tracy, and it was just one series of Hun's War.
That was the big Han War era, right? How was it with mirrors?
Yeah.
Like, I know probably this was mainly a mirror or Han mirror era. This can't be fully Han mirror because, well, no Hans for the start. But
there was actually a lot of random Civ too. It was like Han mirror, random Civ, and then the other wars. Like for example, Orca, which is the code. He played a lot of random Civ 1v1, and same with Josh, Quendi Josh. A ton of random Civ 1v1. I myself played a lot of the random Civ 1v1 during that time frame. That was my favorite for a long time. In fact, I even had a name that was Huns Are Not Fun 6 was one of my Smurf names.
Let's go.
Okay, and then let's see. 12 to 14 was Priest for number 2. Priest was the biggest crap talker that ever lived. You could even say 12 to 15-ish. Or that's 14. It's 14. and he would go around beating tons of armors 1v1. This is when RM players were playing a crap ton of DM 1v1, like crazy amount of DM 1v1. It's because the War is Coming tournament was announced, $140,000 tournament, and DM was 20% of it. So all the top armors were suddenly playing a lot of DM. You saw the rise of players like people that I was training in DM were like Fire and Leary and Ryut and Bacti. Funny enough, for a lot of those, they were not top RMers at this time, but then after learning RM or DM, they became top RM after that, which was pretty crazy.
Classic story. I mean, happening today's, right?
And then 14 to World Cup 1, I think probably the unanimous number 2 was Viper, actually, in this time. Although some people would have mentioned me, but well, I don't know. I hesitate to say I'm number 2, but I'd almost want other DMers to weigh in on that. It's either between me or Viper. Viper did beat me in a DM 1v1 tournament, although I had to play him at 3 in the morning, my time.
What were the dates?
So from 14 to 16. Yeah, that's fine. Actually, that's almost dead on. 1st of February 14. Yeah, to like 2016.
That's before Deathmatch World Cup 1.
Right. And then that's World Cup 1 is when I took over as number 1. So then you put me there until 2020, basically.
You're red, right?
Yeah. Yep. Number 2 in this frame was probably either Jibba or Orca. I think the code was probably number 2 in this time frame. In fact, you're going to be able to put number 2 as the code from here all the way to 2023.
I'll make him red as well, even though I think of him as red as well, or what would you say?
Yeah, he liked red. Him and I would argue over who gets to play as red
Given
when we
the
had to play each
different
other.
red a bit, I guess.
He was also fine with blue, but yeah.
Oh, bluish red fits. 2016 until
2022. And then Viper took over as number 1 after me all the way until DM World Cup 5 when Andy became number 1.
Legend is saying Viper won DM World Cup 2 in 2019.
Wasn't that 2020? Was that 2019?
It was
It must have been at the
2019.
very
Legend
end
is
of.
right.
Must have been at the very end of it, right?
September, October. August,
October.
autumn.
October. Okay.
10th of October.
So no, I was wrong. I was off a year there, I guess. That's when Viper took over as number 1.
I guess we shorten this and add Viper number 1 here, right?
You're right. All right.
Quendi? Until
2019 until 20. You should make it 19, and then to 2022. Yeah.
I don't want it overlapping, so I have to October.
Oh, okay.
Ah, still overlapping. 1st of June.
That's fine.
Ah, but it needs to be yellow,
Bit of a.
obviously.
There's a bit of a rivalry. Or Viper and I always called him out to play 1v1 around the DM lobbies. I always played well against Viper. I pretty much won all the series I played against him, except the one that he beat me before DM World Cup 1. But the code was beating me pretty perennially at this time, and it was like a triangle. And unfortunately, Code would always lose to Viper in the tournament, and I would always lose to Code, and then Viper would beat Code in the finals. It's really unfortunate that I never got to match Viper in the DM World Cup series. But yeah, if you want to do events, this is where you'd have DM World Cup 2, 3, 4, 5 through here, but we might not have enough time to add all those.
Yeah, I think maybe not. Maybe just add 5.
So 22 to 23, that's where you put Andy as number 1. I think that was DM World Cup 5 victory for him, right? Yeah.
Got another orange. 2022. Basically just 2022, right?
2020. We'll say 2023. I mean, how long is the DM World Cup victory worth? I think it's at least a year, right?
Yeah.
And then
Mhm.
and then you have Frost. It's hard to call Frost number one a little bit because he hasn't had a major victory. I think Frost hasn't won any A tier or higher tournament in DM, right? Whereas all the previous victors of DM have
But
won
he
either
won everything that
A
was
or S
there,
tier.
right? And
Yeah,
tournaments would have probably
right.
been A tier in past times.
And the other thing too is like how many people did you have competing with Frost for number one at this time? Like how many people were gunning to become number one? I think it's maybe limited in this time frame. Um,
Has he? Well, Andy, right? I
yeah,
mean, he took out Andy in multiple tournaments, so he's kind of successor of Andy
yeah.
because he beat Andy, I would say.
But Andy trained really hard for DM World Cup 5 and then stopped training for DM after that, basically. I what I'm trying to push the DM community here to do is to organize a real A or S tier tournament. I think if you want really, especially for Frost to like legitimize his throne, so to speak, he needs that S tier win, right? I would love to see him do it. It's just the community needs to rally together and put this together, like the previous community always did. You know, in the past, you had basically whoever was the torchbearers of the community always rallying the community together to donate to a tournament, get a big tournament going. You look at the previous DM World Cups, for example, 1 through 4 at least had huge turnouts from both the ARM and DM World. I think the Quendi team plus the code plus one other donator put together donated over $20,000 to tournaments. You just don't have that anymore. People organizing it and making these special things happen for DM, and in turn, you haven't had the competition against Frost for number one. Um, so yeah, that's the one thing I'd like to push the DM community to do is find a way to do that again. Bring back that spirit that's been maybe missing for a little while now. Um, but yeah, I think this is a fairly accurate, list. I would put Ganji probably as number two. I wouldn't say Andy really dropped to number two. I'd say Ganji took at number two and kept it since that DM World Cup. Would you guys agree? This is more of the community that's more. You guys know more than I do at this point. Um, but does that make sense to everyone?
People are talking a
Anyone
lot
in the
about
chat?
Zhao, mainly Admiral Zhao. So, but we already
Well,
did
yeah.
that early on. Um, Ganji or favorite, I would say number two.
Oh,
Who's
okay.
back? Ganji,
I
Andy,
think
and Daywalker, I feel like.
I think Dan, yeah,
Best
Daywalker.
Daywalks. Could
By the
continue
way,
Daywalking.
Daywalker is like a special mention throughout this. Like he's been competition for number one at different phases, going all the way back to 2023. So if you want to talk about the longest streak of being a top DMer in this history, it's definitely Daywalker. In a way that deserves an award all its own.
Now you say I'm not number two. I'm not number two Daywalker, but you earlier when we put you here from 2004, you said extend that to 2026, so you can't have both.
True. Where would you put rank? Where would I rank Viper? I don't think Viper would make top two anymore. I think Viper is now older. You could see that he's not keeping up with the RM tournaments anymore either. I think if you really wanted to make a really great case for Frost to be like, if we wanted to have like the GOAT conversation, I mean, you look at like Jibba, for example. He won
If I
multiple
look
S tier
at this,
tournaments. He
then
won
seems like Chitpa's to go still.
He won multiple like S tier tournaments. He won every series he played against all those competitors who tried to compete with him. Except Tracy did win that little one. It was like a best of 3 Huns, and he beat him there. But that was besides that. Jimmy won all the tournaments. He won WCLs. He won the June. Well, he didn't win Juno Cup 3. He narrowly lost a bender there. But besides that, after Juno Cup 3, he was just the unanimous number one for the longest time. No one could beat him. his was the most dominant victory, where like he was so far above everyone else trying to take number one. And to be clear, this entire time Jib was number one, there was several players trying to be number one, which is maybe different than what came after, where like the field of who was trying to be number one kind of dwindled after that, became smaller. These days, I don't know if there's really that many people actually trying to become number one outside of Frost. But during Jibba's reign, there was, you know, many players who were attempting it. Um, and he just routinely destroyed them all. So for 10 years, um, I watched an incredible number of his recorded games.
I mean, after
Um,
tonight, the question is obviously, do we put Keller maybe in this position or do we put Keller in this position?
then that's the big question here. Do we start to look at other players? Is Keller going to prove something today? How much does a
The
this is
example of a time spent.
this is the
Keller
this
is
is the
also big.
biggest tournament we've had in DM for a little while now, right? At the same time, it is a team game tournament, and we mostly measure this by 1v1s, but um, it's still something to question here. Is Keller a contender for number one? And Keller did, being my favorite donut and everything, he did beat Frost in a series in the last DM World Cup.
Did he?
He did, yeah. In DM World Cup 5, before Frost
So
lost to
did
Ganji
Ganji,
in the
though,
group
right?
stage.
So that's why we should probably still put Ganji as 2. Let's put Ganji as 2.
Yeah, Ganji
No!
should probably be
My
number
rate
2.
is expanded. Rip Ganji. I have to pay now. I can't put more. Unlucky. No Ganji. Can I put a... No, I can't put anything anymore. I didn't do that many.
I saw Zal mention Tato not mentioned. I don't think Tato is ever really number 2. Or Tato had some really good times. I'm the one that taught him DM actually back when he teamed me. There was like a draft phase of a tournament back in 2014 in a tournament called The Uprising, and it was a 2v2 and 3v3 tournament. And Rage and I drafted him, and I wanted him to play really well, so we taught him how to play, and he became great at DM, and then afterward became great at RM as well. Yeah, so I think this is a really good timeline. I think this really shows where we were in DM history. Peaks in DM activity and competition for number one were probably like 1999 to 2005, and then I think there was maybe a small peak that happened in like 2008 to 10, and then a bigger peak that happened from like 2015 to 2023. And it's kind of dropped off since then, unfortunately. But yeah, I would love to see competition come back to DM. And even for Frost, I would like to see him have the competition and really prove his number one. Which I think he would. But it's just, he has that looming over him, is like he needs the competition to prove it. A really big tournament would be great. I think this is it, though. Anyone in chat think I'm missing anything? No, I haven't really
I
watched
already
TDM.
posted and saved it, and we've got 1 minute until the grand final, so unfortunately.
Perfect. Let me
No
log
Nili
off of
there? No, I
Boobly.
don't think Nili or Tato were ever top 2, right? Tato I saw mentioned as well, but they were like top 6, I would say, but not top 2.
Yeah, they were like, yeah. In fact, Nili got top 8 in DM World Cup 1. I think that was the best
No,
he
he got
actually
top
was in
6, I
DM.
think.
Or top 6, you're right. Top 6.
I think he later on in one of them he got top 6. There's an all-time Deathmatch World Cup list somewhere.
And I think he would have gotten actually top 4 if he played the next game, but he had a poker tournament and he had to forfeit.
Oh, he was still a professional poker player then?
Yeah, so 5th to 6th there he got for DM World Cup 1. He should have he was better Then the runner up there, which was Mystical Soul, Praxis, I think. Although Praxis also was pretty good. So I don't know. It's hard to say who would have won that actually. But Nilly
And
and I
I
were training
and I
partners.
remember
We
the
we
Deathmatch
played.
World Cup 3 game with Nelly against Rage, where it was Ghost Lake,
Yeah.
the final
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I
Nelly
remember
was
that.
dead but asked would. And it was a heartbreaking moment because he didn't make the top 6 that run. And
Yeah.
it was really important to
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. Good times. Leash Unleash. He also dropped out early in the tournament for DM World Cup 1. He
Yeah,
got
Lee should be
deployed in
someone I would have
military.
also thought would be on here for DM World Cup 3, but I guess he dropped out then, right? So it was the code.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think we can debate it. It is the code, right? For that
Yeah, DM
game.
World Cup 3, I think it was. Leash was beating both me and the code in all of our practice games. But then he lost badly to Viper in the round of the tournament. He was still in the tournament though in the loser bracket and then left. That was also the tournament that I played the show match against the Viper after the tournament. Yeah.
I think we have to get to
I
the
love
grand
I love the
finals,
history.
though. Great history. I posted a timeline. Thank you so much for watching this little dive into deathmatch history. Thanks a lot, True, for being here with me. If you see this on YouTube, like and subscribe.